The views and opinions expressed on this program are not those of Norfolk State University or WNSB-FM. Thank you for listening.
It's Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
An increasing number of people are realizing that corporate America has changed. Job security is almost non-existent, benefits are not nearly what they used to be, and starting your own business doesn't seem so risky. Are you among the many people who have started a business, or are you thinking about starting your business and working for yourself? Hi, everybody. I'm Benita Adams, and today on Hampton Roads Voices, we're talking about minding your business. How do I get started? What kind of business should I have, and where do I get the money to start my business? We'll talk about it coming up next on Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
It's Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Benita Adams, and this is Hampton Roads Voices. We are talking about minding your business today, the power of being an entrepreneur. Let me go ahead and give you our number. It's 757-823-9110. Are you thinking about starting a business? And if so, what kind? Have you already started a business? And if you are thinking about it, what frightens you a little bit to make you say, I really want to do this, but I'm not sure? And any great advice that you would give to an entrepreneur. 757-823-9110. We have two in-studio guests today. We have Miss Latrice Williams-McKnight, president of McKnight Williams and Associates. Latrice, thank you for being here today.
Oh, it is my pleasure, Benita. Thank you for having me.
And we have Miss Akosia I would just say her last name like that, professor of NSU School of Business and the co-founder of Connexus. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Benita. I'm so excited to be here.
Yes, ladies, this is a great topic because so many people, as I said in my opening, corporate America isn't what it used to be. We thought at one time that you worked for the same company for 30 years, you'd retire, you get your gold watch, and you get your retirement money, and you just go off to the sunset, and life was good. But that is not how things work these days. You can work at a company for many years and they can lay you off. And you think, wait a minute. Or there could be a lot of financial reasons why you have to leave a company. And so many people are starting their own business. And so that's why I thought about this topic about being an entrepreneur. So Latrice, let me start with you. What is an entrepreneur? We hear that word all the time, but really what is that?
Well, an entrepreneur can be a lot of things to a lot of people. For me, it's freedom. It actually means that I get to do what I was purposely meant to do on my own with the help of course, a team. We have to remember that teamwork makes the dream work. So when I think of entrepreneurship, I think about me being able to have freedom to do what I was called to do. And so I think of it in that way. But as we know, an entrepreneur is one who owns their own business.
Absolutely.
But for me, it means freedom.
Oh, I love that. And we'll get into a little bit more about that. How would you define entrepreneurship? Same kind of thing, or add your own spin to this?
Yeah, an entrepreneur is someone that's able to take risk, that you're able to be a self-starter. A lot of people are entrepreneurs more than they think. Like Latrice said, now we've attached a business owner, but there are many people in corporate America day by day that have the entrepreneur spirit, that they have the ability to take risks and jump in. An entrepreneur is not necessarily someone that is, eating noodles and striving and, trying to make it. But it is someone that's able to take risks and be in the mix of uncertainty and figure out the answers and put solutions out there.
Absolutely. Now, Latrice, you are an entrepreneur. Tell us a little bit about your business. We'll dive into this a little bit more later as well. But as an entrepreneur, what is your business and how did you decide that you were going to take the leap to own your own business?
Wow. Well, my business is actually one that helps women to pursue their purpose. I always say that I am here to help you identify your purpose, to find your passion, and to turn your passion into profit. And I'm a true believer that whatever we have in us, we were made to actually do it in order to create a means for us to live by. I don't think that anything that we desire to do, that deep down feeling that you get that you always want to do something and you don't know why you even do it if you're not even paid to do it, there's a reason for that because you were created to do it. And so I always share with people about entrepreneurship that when you're actually in the midst of doing those things, as long as you're making money, you're not creating just an expensive hobby. You're actually doing a business. And so for me, I was wanting so bad to help other people to do that I decided to turn it into a business. I looked at myself as trying to do some coaching. I'm a certified John Maxwell coach as well as a member of the Forbes Coaching Council. And I actually help a lot of corporations in corporate America with executive coaching. But as I began to attach myself to the individuals in the corporations, I realized that they weren't in there doing what they wanted to do. They were in there doing what they had to do so that they can support their families and themselves. And so what I decided to do was actually help those individuals to turn it around and create that job that they really wanted. And I always think of the entrepreneurship too as a job, not meaning that it's something that you have to go to, but I want you to keep that mindset.
Right.
Because sometimes entrepreneurs, they think, okay, we're going to stay in our pajamas, we're not going to do our hair. And that's a mindset because entrepreneurship is a mindset. So I want to be able to help people and help individuals to actually grow themselves as well as their businesses and teach them different things that they can do to actually do that.
Absolutely. And I like that you said that if it's not making money, it's just a very nice, expensive hobby.
Yes, ma'am.
And you say, but I'm really good at this. Yeah, but how much money did you make? I didn't make any. I gave all the pies away, but that's okay. No, it's not. Then that's a hobby, honey. That is not a business. Mm-hmm. You're in the school of business, of course. You come across entrepreneurs, or people with I like to say it this way, just as you said, entrepreneurial spirit, because some people aren't entrepreneurs yet, but they do have a spirit about them that they know. They've seen it. Maybe it was in their family. They follow other entrepreneurs. What do you see in terms of entrepreneurs? What makes them say, I'm going to take the leap to go ahead and do this?
Mm-hmm. I've come across a lot of people that decided to start their own business out of, I was tired of seeing it done another way. So they want to bring out better solutions. And an entrepreneur has that mindset of problem solving, that there is a better solution out there, and I can be the one that deliver it and bring other people on board. So a lot of my students, one thing that I'm getting out there is that it's not about a hobby, not necessarily, right? Because it has to be a sustainable business. And just because something is your hobby doesn't mean you have to make a business out of it. Because at the end of the day, it's about what do you appreciate giving value to other people. For example, you may enjoy playing music, but that doesn't mean you enjoy helping other people with music. So you have to have that mindset. What do I want to help other people with? You can enjoy your hobby, but it doesn't have to be that business.
It doesn't have to be that business. And again, we're asking you, call us at 757-823-9110. Are you interested in starting a business? Are you a little concerned as to, or confused perhaps about which business to start? We have our experts here in the studio, and they can, of course, walk you through the process and answer your questions. 757-823-9110. So how do people decide? Akasi, I'll start with you. How do people decide what kind of business to have? You did mention that a little bit in terms of problem solving and giving back and value. What if a person says, well, I don't know if I want a product type business or a service type business? How do they even begin to get to that point?
Yes. It's okay to have several ideas in mind, because one thing that we're teaching students these days and entrepreneurs is that there is such a thing as validating your idea.
Okay.
So if you're someone that you have several ideas, you don't know where to begin, it's okay. So long as you can come to a place of, can I actually validate that this is something that I want to persevere? Okay. So it's not necessarily about which one do I pick, but which one do people want to buy from me? Absolutely. And so you can actually validate that by talking to people and figuring that out. And that's something that we're pushing our students and our entrepreneurial ecosystem to do in Hampton Roads, is validate the idea. And if it's not something that you actually want to persevere with, you move on to the next one.
Absolutely.
And so
well, we'll talk a little bit more about that after the break. But again, the number 757-823-9110. What are your business ideas? How many do you have and what are you thinking about? Again, give us a call, 757-823-9110. We're talking about minding your business, the power of being an entrepreneur on Hot 91.
Is Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
Welcome back, everybody, to Hampton Roads Voices. I'm Benita Adams, your host, and we're talking about minding your business, the power of being an entrepreneur. Our in-studio guests are Miss Latrice Williams-McKnight and Miss Akosia from NSU Business School. Now, we do have a caller on the line. Caller, if you'll give us your name and where you're calling from, you are live.
Anthony, calling from Norfolk.
Hey, Anthony, what is your question or comment?
Yeah, my comment is I like the topic today. Y'all right on point for is entrepreneurship and how people should go about doing it instead of working for somebody. Because like she said earlier on the show that, it's a risk because, I walked away from a good job. A real good job. And but I knew I had to come out here and do what I supposed to be doing because I was at a point one time that the business that I was doing, I was out here doing it, and then I would have to wrap my stuff up and clean up and go to the job. So that stopped me from finishing that job and getting paid for that job and go to work and clock in. So when she said it was a risk, it was a real good job, and I didn't have a problem with the job, but I knew that I supposed to be out here doing what I supposed to do and, less stress and come in and do and, in the way you treat the people and everything. That was my main focus. So
Anthony, what was that final thing or series of things or thoughts or behaviors that made you say, you know what, I just got to do my own thing now? Was there one or two things that made you really take the leap?
Well, I'm cleaning up one day and I'm like, I can really finish this job, but I got to go to work and clock in so I can be on time.
Okay.
So I'm like, it's not adding up. So I'm, what I do. So, I go to the boss and say, hey, it ain't, it's not you. You're a good boss. It's not the company. It's a good company. But I know I'm out here needing to do this and this, and it's it's just not about me. It's about who's looking at me, my grandson, and even me out here in the community working with the youth and everything, young black men. That right there just set it off because they're looking at me and I can explain them how to do this, how to do that, and show them at the same time. On the job training. So, and now I'm in a position now that, I'm going to raise my level of, my certificates and my clarification and all my licenses and everything. So, and that opened up the door for me to walk away and come out here and do what I do. Now I can take time out and get to where I'm supposed to be and learn more and more what I'm supposed to learn.
Absolutely. Anthony, thank you so much.
Thank you for having this topic today. It's a really good topic. I like the show. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. Latrice, he said he had to walk away. He said his grandson is watching him, and he knew he could not, at that point, he couldn't do both. He picked himself. Talk about that.
And what I loved about, thank you, Anthony, for the call. And what I loved about it, too, is that he talked about leaving a legacy.
Yes.
And I think so many people have to understand that when you are an entrepreneur, you're actually now building upon your dream and not building on somebody else's. And so many of us don't understand that. A lot of times when we're getting into corporations and businesses, that was somebody else's dream. And we're just that person assisting that other person acquire their dream. And now it's time for you to live your dream. And so he's not only living his dream, but he's leaving a legacy for his children. And like he also said, people are watching. And what happens when people watch, like Anthony touched upon, it makes you grow. because people are watching him. He said he has to now do more certifications. He has to now up his game because people are watching him. When you step out of your comfort zone, you start to up your game. Out of your comfort zone makes you have to grow.
Oh, yes.
And so I seen just in him talking, you could hear that he has growth on his mind because people are watching him. And that will never happen when you stay comfortable in where you are. So I love the call. And I think it's just an amazing outlook on what we can do, not what we have to do, but what we can do if we put our mind to it and have that mindset of doing better for yourself, for what you want to do, and not having to put down what you want and love to do. That's also adding value to others, but now you're doing it where you're adding value to others, but you're doing it from what is purposely meant for you to do.
And it's such an important point. And then, Ms. Cosi, I want you to comment on his comment and question as well. But so many times you think about it whoever the company that owns the person that owns the company, that is their dream. And so if you spend all day, and we all have to work and get money, okay?
Exactly.
You know what? Is there any way I can not pay that electricity bill? I'm trying to build a dream here, and I just don't have it. No, it doesn't work that way. So we know we all have to make some money. But sometimes if we spend all our time working on somebody else's dream, we don't have anything left for our dream. Right. And so he made a decision that he said, you know what? There's nothing wrong with you, Mr. Boss. There's nothing wrong with this company. It's all great. But you know what? I got a dream that I must pursue. I'm going to go out there and get that. Mr. Cosi, what do you think about what Anthony said?
Anthony sounds very passionate. And you can tell the entrepreneurial spirit is in there. And one thing I like that he mentioned was that it was time for him to do what he wanted to do.
Right.
He came to a place where he knew it was time. And I think a lot of times, even though you may be an entrepreneur, you may not be ready yet, because there's still skills that you have to acquire, even in entrepreneurship, so you don't fail and just crash.
Absolutely.
But I think Anthony got to that place of he knew and he had seen, that vision that it is time. And so that's something I wanted to comment on from what he was saying. He just knew.
Absolutely. So give us a call. We're here at 757-823-9110. Are you an entrepreneur? Are you thinking about starting your own business? Is it time, as Ms. Akosia said, is it time for you, or do you think you need to go and get some more skills? Or what is your passion, and what are you interested in building in terms of your business? 757-823-9110. So ladies, I want to talk about some nuts and bolts. Our visions are wonderful. This idea that I have, I make the best pies in the world. So somebody says, hey, girl, you need to start a pie company. And that is wonderful. But there are some other things that you have to do as well. There's some ABCs, 1, 2, 3s that have to be there. So let's first start talking about the business plan. Do we need a business plan, Ms. Kosia?
That is a great question. So do you need a business plan? Not initially. A lot and I know people are not expecting me to say this, but a lot of entrepreneurs put so much time on trying to put together a business plan, 20 to 70 pages of paper that you may never even look at again.
Oh, my.
Or better yet, none of them matches up to what will actually happen. And so do you need a business plan initially? No. There is something called the business model canvas. And the business model canvas has different, like everything that you need within a business that needs to be answered, such as what's your customer segment? It's a one sheet of paper, and it's broken down into 9 different blocks where you will know your customer segment, what type of relationship, what value are you offering, who are your key partners, and what you can do is you can start listing them point bullet by bullet and then validate it. So that's what the difference is that you can have a business plan that is actually validated and after you have listed them out and figured out and talked to them. Okay, I think, because a lot of times, not a lot of time, all the time when we are starting with entrepreneurship, it's a lot of assumption because it's you, right? So that all that assumption needs to be validated. So I believe my customer segment are females between 18 to 45. Now let me talk to these females between 18 to 45 to actually validate that this is my customer segment. And so that is the business model canvas, is that it helps you validate all these different segments that goes into the business plan. so you can have a business plan in after that.
That is very important. And Latrice, how did you know that you specifically wanted to work with women? Was there something, or you were interacting with that demographic at first? Why women specifically for you? Because you're talking about client base and so forth.
Well, what I discovered was I first started working with children.
Oh.
And actually, once I was working with the kids, and I still do work with kids now. Can I say where I work with kids?
Mm-hmm,
okay, Calvary Revival Church. And I work with the youth group, and I work with children there. What I noticed in the children's ministry and in schools is that we were helping the children and what we call fixing the children, but they would go home to crazy parents.
Oh, wow.
And so I realized that if you could help change a mom and empower a woman, you can change the world. And so that's why I kind of switched on that goal of really tapping into women so that we can actually start changing the world, and not just starting with the kids, but starting with the people who create the children.
So you saw a need. You saw a need there. We have a caller on the line. Caller, you're live on the air. Oh, what is your name, please, and where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Lanice McKnight. I'm calling from Chesapeake.
Uh-huh.
I was calling. First of all, I wanted to say that I really enjoy thus far the topic.
Great.
I appreciate it because I myself am an entrepreneur myself, and I am trying to build and rebrand. So the topic is right on time with help that people may need for guidance, but and encouragement as well. But I did have some questions to the young ladies that are on the show, the experts.
Absolutely.
What would be some avenues, like what are the initial avenues that a young entrepreneur may need to take as far as business licensing and certifications or things like of that sort? And also, as far as research goes with your demographic, especially for Black people, our community, I noticed that a lot of times with starting business, a lot of things are about popularity more than what we need. And so, did they have any struggle? Did you guys have any struggles with those things? And what would be some advice to someone that is going through that?
Okay. Thank you so much for calling. We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Latrice, I'm going to start with you. And we were actually going to get into some of that, licenses, and also about researching your business, researching your competition. Some people think, oh, no, I don't need to know what everybody else is doing. You do need to know what everybody else is doing.
Yes, you do.
And certification. So let's start with some of those elements there that she mentioned.
I'm all about researching your competition. I love the fact that there are people out there who do what I do. I think your competition is not just for researching to copy them or anything like that, but it's about encouraging you to find out if you are on the right path. I always share with entrepreneurs as well is you can always, I love Google. Okay. Google your topic, Google your niche, what you're actually in tune to do. Also researching on Amazon, actually going and finding out what's the best selling book right now. When you look at the best-selling book, that's what people are interested in buying or reading about. So those are topics that you can touch base on. And then connecting. Social media is great, but also word of mouth and touching and personable, being personable. People forget about that. You don't get things in the mail anymore. What happened to the cards? What happened to somebody sending me something talking about their business? You know, so all of these different things, going about things to do differently. Find out what your competition is not doing, and then you do that. So those are some of the things that I look at when I see there's other women business coaches, what they're doing. I look at how they're doing it, what they're doing, and what they're not doing, and what needs they are not meeting for those clients. And then I fulfill that need. And so if I see that it's not something that's personable or they're spending a lot of time on social media, I get off and I touch people and I talk to people and I call people and do things like that. And it tends to grow your business a lot better. So to that young lady, do something different. Whatever those people are doing, do it differently.
I love that. Ms. Okosi, is that what you're teaching the students here in the business school at NSU?
Yes, we are definitely teaching students to research, and research come in different forms. And one of the things that I've already mentioned is that interview, talking to people, talking to the people that are going to buy from you. And I love what Latrice said, is that she actually picks up the phone and call people and talk to people, because you can't be hiding behind your computer in social media. And I think that's what we've seen that our generation do a lot now, is hiding behind social media.
Right.
You're just posting stuff. Doesn't actually mean you're making progress. You're a lot of busyness, a lot of activity, but make steps that will actually move things forward. And one of those things is that interview, calling people that will buy from you, and even call people that you may not necessarily think will buy from you, but find out, why would you not buy from me?
That information is just as important.
Exactly.
Yes, it's just as important. I love
what
that
do
you
I
say
need
that.
to change
Yes.
for you to buy from me? For you to, pierce into my product and my business. And so research is very important. And of course, utilizing the city's resources. There is so many city resources out there, such as the Women's Business Center. There are incubator programs that will take you from one step till you get to a funding. A lot of times people are thinking, how do I get money? How do I get money? But there's so many things that needs to be in place before you can get funding. And there are resources out there that the city is pushing forth. Our cities are really supporting entrepreneurship.
Absolutely.
And so, and NSU is really doing what we have our classes going on, but we are opening up an innovation center in the spring so that is a place for you to come and be among people that are just like you, and also get the help that you need from early stage. I don't know how to talk to my potential customers, but we can sit there and call them with you. We can sit there and validate, how big is your market? All these things that the lady mentioned is very important.
Absolutely. And we're going to take a break, but I like that you said, Latrice, I saw it in terms of, you said touching people and calling them. It's high tech, but we still need high touch. We've got to touch lives. The hiding behind the computer is one thing, but am I there for you? So high tech, but high touch, everyone. So we're calling 757-823-9110. We're talking about minding your business on Hot 91.
Is Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Benita Adams. We're talking about the power of being an entrepreneur or minding your business. We have Miss Latrice Williams McKnight, president of McKnight, Williams and Associates. Latrice, thank you for being here today.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Benita.
And we have Ms. Akosia, who is the professor at NSU School of Business and the co-founder of Connexus. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Benita.
So we're talking about starting your business, and before the break, we were looking at what we call the ABCs and the 1, 2, 3s. And we looked at having a business plan. But let's also look at any paperwork, any forms or anything like that we need to fill out. Ms. Akosia, I'll start with you.
All right. There are a lot of forms and papers that needs to be filled out, but one thing that I do want to mention is the SWAM certification, which stands for Small Women Minorities. And what the SWAM certification does is it brings you to a place where you stand out for certain contracts. There are actually jobs and contracts that are set apart just for small business owners, just for minorities, and just for women. So when you have this certification, you have the ability to now apply for these contracts, and it just has a way of making you stand out. But the SWAM certification is held by the city. There are events that the city puts together just so that people can attend in person and do it with other people. Because the process can be a little overwhelming, business initially can feel overwhelming. So when you're among other people and you're sitting down and you bring in all the the forms that you need, you can do it at these events. So the city of Norfolk has events, the city of Virginia Beach has events, the Women's Business Center has SWAM certification events, HR PAC, which stands for Hampton Road Procurement, has an event on there. and I believe VBOC too. So there are groups and organizations that are making sure that the SWIM certification is happening because it's very important.
I love that you say that because sometimes it can seem overwhelming. Oh, I'm not good with numbers. I'm not good with filling out these forms. I'm not sure what to do. But when you say that there are people there that can help you and they can help you walk through the process, it can make it a little less intimidating.
Yes.
And so I really like that you said that. And there are city resources that are available as well. Okay, so we have SWAM. Any other business license? A business license. Talk about that just a little bit.
So business license would depend on the type of business that you're in, right?
Okay.
So if you are doing hair, make sure you get that particular license. Restaurant, so you would have to do a little research on that depending on what business you're in. No matter what it is, don't assume that you don't need a license. Figure it out. Do you actually need a license? It's a matter of Googling away where you can just figure that out, and some of them requires payment. But if you don't know, nevertheless, just figure out who. You always know who your city of economic and development people are, and because those people have to help you. So if you're in the city of Norfolk, know the economic development. You can just walk in there and get some help on figuring out how to go about what license do I need for my particular business.
I like that. And speak a little bit, and then Latrice, I'm going to come to you. Speak a little bit about types of businesses like an LLC, sole proprietorship, those kinds of things, because I know people might know those terms, but they don't know what they mean.
Okay. So to actually be a sole proprietorship, all you need really, you don't actually need to fill out anything. All you need is to actually put out an announcement that you're selling something and also actually purchase something, or you get paid for something. And so that's what, and then you're in business. And with that one is really nice because you get to file taxes as yourself. And so you file taxes when you're filing your normal taxes, and it doesn't have to be separated. There is something called partnerships, which is between you and other people. You form different type of partnerships, and you have to be very careful because your partnership, I look at it as a marriage.
Oh, it is.
Where
very much so, yes.
Yeah, where you have to make sure that you have someone that you can trust, and don't be hasteful in figuring out who your if you're going to be in partnership with someone, and the type of partnership that will work for you guys. There are different type of partnership where if between you and I, if something goes wrong, whatever you did wrong affects me. And then, but there are different liability.
It does sound like a marriage.
It is a marriage. They're different. Figuring out the different type of partnerships. I believe there's like at least four different partnerships that you can be in. So you don't have to go full in where if you lose everything, it affects me. There's room for other type of partnerships. But also there is an LLC, which is the one that me and my business partner are in right now. So there's room for different types of business, but you have to figure out which one will work for you.
And that comes back to what we said. You need to research.
Yeah.
You need to Google that. You need to go on Amazon. You need to find out what's going on. So let me give our numbers one more time. And then, Latrice, I'm going to ask you about teams. And you mentioned that earlier. Again, our number is 757-823-9110. Are you thinking about starting a business? If so, what kind? Or are you already a business owner? Tell us your stories. Give us some ways that you've managed to put your business together, even how you manage stress in terms of being a business owner. That's 757-823-9110. Latrice, you had mentioned earlier about it is so important to realize you can't do it on your own. How important is it to have that team?
I get speechless when I think about it, and I shared with someone today about the importance of a team and how important it is for us to understand that collaboration is the new currency. A lot of people don't understand that when you collaborate with others, you're actually building your business and not taking away from it. And I share with women all the time, especially, that it's so important for us to complete each other instead of compete with each other. And when we complete each other, both of us grow. And so when you have a team, you think about this. If it's just you by yourself actually doing a program, but you bring in someone else and they bring their people with you, that means you now doubled the attendance. And so everybody wins. And when you're sharing, somebody can bring in what you don't know. I may not know what you know. You may not know what I know, but together we know a lot.
Right.
And we know more than what we know by ourselves. And so having a team is so important. Also having a team of people who help you in your business. I don't know what I would do without my virtual assistant, because she's there when I'm not. And it helps me to do the other things that I need to do. And so we have to understand that if we're going to go in it hard. And there's different ways, different places that you can actually have individuals who can work with you to do your social media, to do your posting, to do your work, any type of things like that. There's all kind of things that you can tap into. There's one thing called Upwork.com that you can get to have people help you. That's very inexpensive. That will help you to build your business, because you cannot do it by yourself.
Right.
I say no one walked the face of this earth and did anything to become great by themselves.
Oh, no.
Not even Jesus Christ. He had 12 disciples, and then he had 72 other people who went in after that. So the thing is, we have to understand that in order for us to be great, we have to form a team.
We have to.
Teamwork makes your dream work. But it's the thing is, she said something earlier that they'll have a center here where other people with like minds will be there. And it's so important that you connect with people who are like-minded. And that is, if you're thinking about building a team, have some expectations written out. And that's the thing about the business plan. I love that. But I truly believe that a lot of people think that they have to have that 20-page one, but that's not true. That's what you need when you go into the bank, when you need that finance. And that's something that you need. But that 1-page business plan with your value proposition and things like that, like she mentioned about your expectations, your target audience, that is something that everyone should have in front of it, because your business plan or business summary is your vision for your business.
Right.
And everybody has to have written down something that they can see so that they can move forward to it. Because if you don't have a vision, you're what? You can perish.
You perish.
You have
You
to
don't know
have
what you're
something.
doing.
Exactly. And in order, when you write those things down, it'll give you another another aspect of who do I need on the team to make this happen. So when you write it all out, you go, okay, I need to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. Now, who can make that happen? Who can make that happen? So it's so important for you to understand that everything you write down, you're not going to be able to do it yourself. You have to have a team to build your business. And it's so important that you have that person, that accountability partner too.
Yes.
This is my pitch for coaching. I know a lot of people, I don't need a coach. Yes, you do need a
Yes,
coach.
you do.
If it's not me, get somebody. You need someone who's going to push you, someone who's going to encourage you, not just a mentor, but a person who's an expert in their field, what you're doing.
Right.
Because they can help you to tap into some of the areas of business that you may not have known, or the area of coaching that you may not have known, or the area of whatever area you're dealing with that you may not have known. You need that person. And a lot of us think we can go in this and do it alone, but you can't.
You cannot do that by yourself, which is so important. And I love that you said, Latrice, collaboration. I mean, you think about any business. Let's take music. This is a radio station. Let's take music. You can have a person from one generation with his or her fans out there. They collaborate with another person, with a hip hop artist, or an R&B with a hip hop. Because why? They bring their own people, and it brings you to a whole new generation, a whole new audience. And it's the same kind of thing. Collaboration, such an important part, and finding out where you have areas in which you need some help in. You need to be able to connect with people that you can grow from as well. Who said, if you're the smartest person in the room, you need to go to another room. Go to another room. If you're the smartest, okay, well then I'm done here.
Right.
Okay, so you need to be able to do that. So what has your team building been like if you are an entrepreneur? 757-823-9110. We're talking about minding your business, the power of being an entrepreneur. 757-823-9110. So how important, let's talk a little bit about branding. I'm going to start with you because I know you know a lot about this, and then Ms. Okosi, I'm going to come to you. What is branding or personal branding, and how important is that?
Branding is who you are. What people don't understand is branding is what people say about you and your business when you're not in the room.
Right.
And that impression is only left by the impressions that you make on social media, in the workplace, your speaking. Who you are is your brand. And I think that it's so important for us to understand how to brand and what branding consists of, because it's not just a color. It's not just a word, but it's a font that you use. It's the clothes that you wear. It's everything about you, because people, if it's your business, people are looking at you, and you are your business. And so I think people have to really understand the importance of branding and who they connect with, because if you brand yourself a certain way, you're only going to connect with a certain type of people.
Oh, absolutely.
And so we have to really understand that, even down to colors. If you pick a certain color, bright and elaborate and energetic, some of us can't take that anymore. And so we'll like draw away. Some people love it. And those are the people that you want to connect with. So that's why it's so important that you know your niche, your target audience, who you're trying to actually connect with, because in that you will understand how you need to brand yourself. And so I think what people need to do first is connect with the people who they want to attach themselves to, or who they want to sell with. Find out what they like. A lot of times what we do is we look and see what we like.
Oh, of course.
And then we go, oh, okay, let's do it. But you have to understand that, especially if you're in your service business, like she said, there's different types of business, and one of them is service. And if it's a service business and you're there to serve, look at the people who you're serving. What do they like? Absolutely. And figure out those things, and then build your brand around that. And I think what people have to understand, like I said, is to understand that your brand is who you are. And it's not just a color. It's not just a font, but it's about how we speak, how we share, where we share. A lot of people think, oh, I'm going to go on Instagram, but Instagram may not be your target audience. If they're not 35 and under, you need to go back to Facebook. So you have to understand all of these things. Where you're putting your information out is how you brand. Where you, if you're not putting your information out, that's how you brand. And so you have to understand all of those aspects. So branding is, you have to be able to, I call it branding with authority. And that means that you're going in knowing who you are, who you're trying to serve, and how you're going to serve them. And then showing that through pictures, through the way you look, through the way you present, and then moving forward to growing your business.
I love that. And Ms. Acacia, you had mentioned earlier as well, and you were saying about solving a problem. I think you were saying that about that. You were talking about problem solving, taking risks, those kinds of things. And I think that really is a connection with what Latrice is saying, that when you are thinking about your brand, you have to think about what the needs are out there as well.
Yeah. I think it's very important. I think the first question that you should always have when you're starting this business is, what need am I giving out? What is the problem that I'm solving? And while branding may be so much about you, it's not necessarily the case if you're solving a problem, because that problem may not have to do anything with you, but you're just so passionate. So that's why it's so important to talk into the people that you're solving the problem for, or the people that you are giving the value to, because once you talk to them, you will know how to communicate. So branding is communicating that value that you have to offer. When I started business, I was very focused on colors and the logos and how it looks and, and stuff like that. But you will soon realize that's not where the power is. The power is at you figuring out the need and the value of the people and being able to just simply communicate that. And as an entrepreneur, if you can just take your eyes off of you, and I know it's your dream, and I know it's your goal, and I know you've been carrying this for a long time, but the moment you step out of your me, and start to realize, who am I actually serving?
Right.
Branding will come. Communication will come. Because within every thing that is not working, somebody holds the answer to it.
I like
and
that.
That is your people.
And sometimes I think we start there because it's easier. Okay, everybody's on Instagram, everybody's on Facebook or some sort of social media.
Yes.
And so, okay, I can do colors, I can put this out, I can put that out. So it's less risk. It feels less risky and it seems easier. So we start there without really thinking about that. I teach public speaking here at Norfolk State. And one of the things I tell my students is, you're not speaking for yourself. You're speaking for your audience. What do you need to do for your audience? What's in it for me? Why should I care? You have to be able to answer that to the audience. And that's the same thing we're saying here. It is about you, but it isn't about you in some respect. It's about who your target market is. So as an entrepreneur, what have you been thinking? Give us a call, 757-823-9110, 823-9110. This is Hot 91.
is Hampton Roads Voices. Hot 91.
Welcome back, everybody, to Hampton Roads Voices. Today, we're talking about minding your business. I'm your host, Benita Adams, and we're talking about the power of being an entrepreneur. We have our two in-studio guests who will continue with us for the remainder of the show. Mrs. Latrice Williams McKnight. She's the president of McKnight Williams and Associates. Latrice, thank you again for being here.
It is my pleasure, Benita.
And we have Miss Akosia, who is the professor of NSU's Business School of Business, and her own business, co-founder of Connexus. Thank you, Miss Akosia, for being here.
Thank you, Benita.
And we're also joined in the studio now with Chris Gregory. He's the owner of Key Entertainment, and in full disclosure, he is also the associate producer of this show as well. Thank you, Chris.
Well, thank you.
So, Chris, let's talk a little bit about your business, Key Entertainment. How did you come up with the concept for this business, and what were some of the challenges that you've had being a young African-American male who is a business owner?
So, I had already originally planned to be a business owner, because when I worked in retail, I really didn't like the feeling of, the whole Big Brother feeling. So I didn't like feeling like somebody was over top of me. I didn't like nothing like that. And so then as I got into my major, I realized that I had a passion for music, recording, and then once I took a photography class, I got good at photography, and of course I did other things on the side, and when I got here, I put in the time as a community volunteer, and then my program director and my station manager said, "Hey, look, we want to pay you over the summer, so you got to set yourself up a business." I was like, "Wow, okay." I wanted to do it, but it just wasn't. I wasn't ready to do it at that moment. So it took me over the summer to get it started and actually find my way there. So it was really the radio station that kind of pushed me to go ahead and get it started. Because had it been me and my choice, I would have waited till I got just a little bit older to actually start my business. But an actual challenge, I believe, for me is will probably just be having people to believe in you. I do have family that believe in me and everything, but I just want people to believe in this business. I'm so passionate about this business. At first it was just, I'm gonna just take pictures, I'm gonna do this. Now I have a whole idea in my head that I want to do that nobody else is doing down here in this area. I know they're doing it in other areas, but they're not doing it down here. So that's really my target and my challenges for my business.
I love that. Chris, thanks so much, because it is important. Sometimes when people think, not always, but sometimes when they think about business owners, they may think about someone older or maybe middle age or something like that, but you're a young person and you have your own business. What would you say to encourage, especially a younger person, to go ahead and take the leap?
I would just tell them, do it. If you already got the idea in your head, do it. I'm an advocate of be your own boss, honestly. The way that it used to be is not my way anymore. I wouldn't mind working still, but I like being my own boss. So if anybody's out there that just want to go ahead and start their business, I say do it. I'm not gonna say it's easy to do, but you can do it. I did it. I thought I wouldn't be able to do it, and I did it. So now I have a business, and it started in his mind's I was excited when I started my business. So you can do it. You can just do it.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Chris. And again, that was Chris Gregory. He is our associate producer here, as well as the owner of Key Entertainment. So we hear, ladies, and again, we're still joined by Miss Latrice Williams McKnight and Miss Akosia here from the professor of NSU School of Business. And we hear not just what Chris said, but some of the other things. So what are some of the mistakes? Let's talk a little bit about mistakes that entrepreneurs or new business owners make. Ms. Akosia.
All right, that's a big question. Mm-hmm. Some of the mistakes, the quick mistake that people tend to make is not, again, I'm just going to keep repeating, not talking to people.
Okay.
Not talking to who you are going to be serving. And a lot of gathering things and a lot of moving around, but you're not making things happen. And I think if you have a fear of talking to your potential customers, which you really shouldn't, because you should be passionate to serve them, right? And if you do have a fear, or you just, as part of your personality, you're shy, get a partner. Get someone that can fill that gap, because you do need to talk to the people that you will be serving. And so I think that is one of the biggest mistake that we all make, is the hiding behind the social media again, and the talk, just talking big, but you're not really doing anything. And so, but once you start talking to people, you will start getting the answers, and instructions will come from your customers, and they will be pleased, because that's what they want. They're telling you directly what they want.
I like that you say that, because obviously as a communications professional, communications is very important to me. And so you have to take the leap of getting out there, even in the midst of the fear, and saying, I have to speak to people. I cannot hide behind my computer with my keyboard all the time at 3 a.m. on social media. That's okay, but I've got to talk to people face to face. And so I am a big proponent, and as I was researching this show as well, that was one of the skills that they said that you really should work on, is your communication skills. Now, Latrice, as a business owner, when you first started, what were a couple of mistakes that you made that you had to realize that, not this, but I need to do something else?
I love my mistakes. I'm gonna be real with y'all. I looked for the opportunity to fail. What a lot of business owners don't do is they don't prepare for failure. And I think if we were to prepare for failure, we'd be more equipped to handle it when it comes. Everybody is going to fail. Okay, you have to understand that you will fail, but be prepared to fail. And when you go into businesses and you fail, and if you're not prepared to do it, you want to give up. But you should not do that. But I think what a mistake that I made is I did not do enough research. And I think that's one thing that a lot of business owners have to do. If you're going into the field, do your research. Find out what certifications you will need, not just business-wise as far as your EIN number and the tax ID number and things like that, but what else do you need as far as certification? If you're going to be a chef, I'm not going to eat at your restaurants if you have not went to chef school. I'm just being real. If you are a coach and you don't have a certification, I don't want you to coach me. So it's different things that you have to look at and look into so that you can make sure that you have what the people are looking for. And that's a cost. Also, cost analysis. I did not calculate the cost of the business. And then I'm like, whoa, so a lot of times the research, cost analysis, and certifications, what will make you the expert in your field so that people will come to you.
Absolutely. Now, we have a caller on the line. I think it's Anthony that's calling us back. Anthony? Okay, absolutely. What is your question? You're live on the air.
Hi, yeah, this is Anthony again from Norfolk. I called earlier. But
yes, Anthony, of course.
When she said about what are your mistakes, I said, I got to call back. And I think one of the major ones would be making sure you take care of those taxes, because if you don't take care of those taxes, you won't have a business. And I almost ran into that. So now I'm at a point where, because I'm not a paperwork kind of guy. I'm just a hands-on type of worker. And so when around to do, I took everything and I just put it in a tax preparer's lap. And so now, and it's a good tax preparer, because they educated me on some things that I needed to do, some things that I needed to keep up with. And every year I get better and better at it. So now I already see that, see the changes and everything. But making sure you take care of those taxes, and stay up on with them, because they can really get you in trouble and get you in some hot water.
And we could see that even with very wealthy, very famous people who've gone to jail because they haven't paid their taxes.
That's right.
Yeah.
And you just assume that with that level of income that you would have a tax preparer or some financial person around you, but we know that is not always the case. Anthony, thank you so much for that information.
Okay, now, thank you.
Miss Acacia, taxes and paperwork. It can get businesses in trouble, can't it?
It definitely can. And like Anthony's mentioned, he got someone to help. And Latrice also mentioned that you can start to see these people as part of your team, you know, and it's such a big deal that if you're not a paperwork person, get someone that can do it.
That's right.
You know, you don't want to take the risks where a year later, IRS is knocking on your door. Not good. Definitely not good. But yes, all I would have to say with that one is get someone else to do it. Pay that money. It's worth it. Get someone else to handle it for you.
It's worth it. And you had mentioned as well about not so much calculating the cost of what it takes. Talk a little bit more, expound on that just a little bit more, because some people think, okay, well, I just need a desk and my laptop, and that's all I need, girl, I got a business. No, there is more to it than that.
There is more, and it's not just financial as well. A lot of times people don't understand the cost of a business could mean time as far as you and your relationships with your family and others. And we have to calculate all of that. What is the cost of my business going to be? Not just financially, but personally. How am I going to treat myself? Self-time. How am I going to treat if I have kids, my husband? Where do they play into this? But the cost too, when we look at a business, it's not just the desk and it's not just the computer, but how about marketing? People don't calculate a lot of marketing expenses. They don't look at the price that it will cost to maybe put an ad in, or maybe do a Facebook ad, or maybe do anything, get someone on Instagram to post. They don't think about all of those things that you need, different things that you may need for autoresponders to send out emails, and the stamps that you may need to mail out letters. We don't take into account a lot of those costs that it would for marketing. We don't look at marketing as this big expense, but it could be one of the biggest expenses of your business. Not only that it's something that you would put into your business, but it would create a big return. And we don't do that. We don't look at marketing in that aspect where you could put in, but you're going to get out.
But you're going to get, I think that's so important because people cannot want what they don't know exists. If I don't know that you're a coach or that you have your business or you're an entertainment business person, how do I want it if it's not out there? And so you cannot negate the importance of marketing so that people absolutely know that you are there and understanding. I think that is so fascinating, not just the cost of physical things, but the cost of relationships as well. We'll talk a little bit more about that after the break. Again, they're giving us a call at 757-823-9110. This is Hot 91.
Is Hampton Roads Voices. Hot 91.
If you're just joining us, I'm Benita Adams on Hampton Roads Voices, and we're talking about the power of being an entrepreneur and minding your business. Now, we're talking about something, we're going to move into talking about something that's so important, and that's money. You cannot talk about starting a business or being an entrepreneur without talking about money. So where do people, Ms. Okosi, I'm going to start with you. A person says, yes, I want to start a business. I have this great idea. I have done some research. I've done my business plan or what have you. Now I need some money.
All right.
Tell us some funding sources.
All right, Benita, it's good to know wherever you're getting the money from, what do they expect from you? And what can you meet? And so that will help you define where you should channel your energy at that point that you're in. So if you're someone, say you're looking to get money from friends and family, do they expect something from you, and can you meet that? So that will help you determine if I'm getting a grant, can I meet the expectation of that grant? Is it something that I can actually see through, and what does the grant offer expects from me? So it's good to have those things in mind so that you don't just jump to, I need a venture capitalist funding, because they are looking for something in return, or an angel investor. With that level of funding, there's so many steps that has to be in place, such as early sales, such as your product being something that people are utilizing, you're getting feedback. How big is, depending on, and even the size of the market also affects the type of funding that you will get. Okay, so angel VC capitalists are looking for type of companies that has a market size over 1 billion. So is the market size over 1 billion? You have to understand all these things. So you don't just wake up and start looking for money. you have to understand the background of your business and also the people that you're getting funding from. What do they expect from you?
I think because Shark Tank is the TV show, Shark Tank, the 3 sharks wanted to fund me. They don't know all the behind the scenes. You're going to have to do that. You're going to have to do that and so forth. And just as you said, Mr. Causey, you have to be able to meet the expectations. So does a small business owner many times start with family and friends? Do they start there and then perhaps go to a bank loan?
Yes, it does start there. It does, a lot of people do start there and also start from grants, such as competitions, that the cities are offering. So you can, pitch into a competition and get funding for your business that way. So starting with the type of funding that no one wants return from. And so looking for that pieces is a good place to start. Yes.
I see sometimes you'll read about a competition, and that is very interesting that you're saying that people should consider that, because that is such a viable means in which to get funded, to get your funds for your business. And so I like that you said that, because that's very important. And also maybe start with who you don't have to pay back. Maybe that's your mom or your dad, but maybe it's not. So you really have to see that. But Latrice, you also made a very important point in terms of seeing how much something costs. The whole old adage, it takes money to make money. And so during the break, we were talking about money in terms of being recertified, money going to conferences. Talk a bit about that and why that is so important.
Well, actually, as you grow your business, you want to continuously grow yourself, because you're actually tapping into new audiences, new people. And the whole ideal behind entrepreneurship is service and growing others and adding value to others. And the only way that you can add value to others is if you continuously add value to yourself. We cannot give from an empty cup. We have to continuously keep our cup filled. And the knowledges and the understanding of our business and what's going on in our business is changing every day. For instance, in technology, 1 minute you can have an i6, the next month it's an i7, the next month it's an i8, 2 months later it's the i9, then we're up to the 9, 10, 11, and 12. And if you're not up to date on technology and knowing that field, and that's what you're doing, you will get left behind. So the thing is that you keep up to date on your skills, keep up to date on your talents. Get those certifications, renew certifications. A lot of people have certifications that they let over. They just don't get recertified in, and they just, I'm good. But no, go back to school, get certified, take some classes, continuing education classes. And like I mentioned before, we were laughing about it, but when you go to a restaurant, if that chef does not have some type of certification, I don't know if I want to eat from his restaurant. Absolutely. Because I want somebody who I know cared enough about what they were doing and were passionate enough about what they were doing that they went to learn more to do better for me. I want to understand that you want to do good by me so bad that you're studying, that you're learning, that you're growing so that I can grow. And that's in coaching. A lot of people are saying they're a coach, but they have no certification. They haven't went to school for it. And they're like, there's nothing that tells you need a certification. I don't care if there's nothing that tell you that you don't need a certification. I want to know that you cared enough first about yourself to get that certification so that you can add value to me, so that I know that you're taking me on that right road, that right track. So it's so important for us to understand and even look. And when you're looking for businesses, look for those people who are certified, yes, who have those certifications, because you get what you pay for. And a lot of us have to understand that. So look for people like that. And if you are out there wanting to start a business, remember that cost, that take into account that you're going to need training going out. And it's so important for us to stay around like-minded individuals. When we're in businesses, whether it's a hair show, whether it's a hair certification, like you mentioned, your boss going to certain conferences. When you go to those places, you're in a room with like-minded individuals. Yes, and the energy that you feel normal, because a lot of times you're feeling, why do I feel so weird? But when you get around the people who are like-minded like you are, and they're into the same things, you share, you collaborate, you get ideas, and you grow, and you come back fired up, ready to start that new program program instantly. And so those are the things that you want to be mindful of. And what are those costs? Every year in your business, that should be in your budget too. Training. Personal development, and then also personal time. A lot of times what we do is we don't take vacation. And we don't budget for that.
Research has said that many people will skip their vacation. That's been documented.
Oh, you cannot do that. And so we have to look into all of those things. Like I said, the cost and relationships. And one of the most important relationships is the relationship with ourselves. Because if you're not taking care of you, you cannot take care of anybody else. So look for those things when you're budgeting and the cost of that, and understanding that in order for you to have money and to grow your business, you got to sow. It's the sowing and reaping principle. You're only going to get what you plant.
That's right. Absolutely. And I think about that in terms of a physician. If your physician didn't know the newest medication or the newest research out there or the newest cures or what have you, you would think, wait, no, I don't think I want to go to this particular physician. So why would that not be the case for anyone else in any other field? And that makes me think, Ms. Acosta, we mentioned this a little bit over the break, why businesses fail. I think the research says that many new businesses fail within the 3 to 5 years. And what are some of the reasons why businesses are failing?
And sometimes it's even earlier.
Oh, even earlier. Okay.
Definitely earlier. And a lot of times with your more product-based businesses, people are developing things and building things that nobody wants.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely nobody wants it. I mean, it's on your iPhone. There's so many applications out there that nobody's using. And why is that? Because they spent that months and months in the garage somewhere, just building it, working on it, without talking to the people that would be utilizing it. If you did talk to them, you would have known that they didn't want to use it. And so a lot of business, number one reason why businesses fail is because you developed something that nobody wanted.
Nobody wanted. That almost seems as if that should be intuitive, that one should know those kinds of things. But if they are in the garage or in the house or in the office all the time and they're not out there speaking with other people, how would they know what the demands are in the marketplace? I went to a breakfast once, and the entrepreneurs were saying that sometimes you've got to get out the office. You've got to say, okay, I can only do so much here in my office. I need to go out there in the marketplace now. I need to talk. I need to interact. I need to listen. And those things are very, very important. So that is, again, very good information in terms of why businesses fail. So we talked about the money piece. We talked about the funding and license and so forth. On the other side of the break, we want to talk about online presence, because you really have to talk about that. Give us a call. We're here at 757-823-9110. What are your plans for a business, your thoughts, and some of the challenges perhaps that you face? 823-9110 on Hot 91.
Is Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
Welcome back, everybody, to Hampton Roads Voices. We're talking about minding your business, the power of being an entrepreneur. We have Miss Latrice Williams McKnight, president of McKnight Williams and Associates, and we have Miss Acacia, who is the co-founder of Connexus, which we're going to talk about in just a moment, and she's also a professor of Norfolk State University School of Business. So, Miss Acacia, tell us about Connexus. Connexus, thank you.
All right, Vanita. So Connexus is a web and mobile application development company. So currently we develop mobile application for other people. So right now we're working with Old Dominion University. We have a big contract with ODU, the Office of Humanities, and we're developing a mobile application for them. We also are working into developing our own product, and that takes a lot of experiment to see, which ones we want to persevere with. But eventually we want to merge into developing things for ourselves. But currently we develop web applications and mobile applications for other people.
Very nice. And in NSU School of Business, as I was, of course, going online looking at some information, there's so many aspects of business. It was saying entrepreneurship, finance, management, information systems, and marketing. How important is it for a person who is interested in starting a business to even be trained in such a program?
All right, it's very important because as an entrepreneur, you have to understand so many different sides of the business because you are the business, and so you have to understand what does marketing take, so how even operations management, the day to day, how do you put structures in place so that your business can stand on its own when you're not there. Finance. Latrice talked about understanding your cost analysis. So every aspect that is in corporate America as far as business goes, you need to understand that. And NSU does a good job with having all the different sectors of business highlighted into different majors.
I love that. That's so good. Now, we do have a caller on the line. Caller, what is your name, please, and where are you calling from?
Yeah, this is Ian from Williamsburg.
I'm sorry, what did you say your name was?
Ian?
Okay, all right. And what is your question or comment?
Yeah, so just to add on to what I heard earlier. So big thing was, you have to get out there when you're an entrepreneur or a business owner. You really do have to get out there and do the footwork and get your name out there. Advertisement is a big deal with the business. If I don't know what the business is, how am I going to, provide any service or product to that business? I didn't know what business you got, and where can I find you? How can I contact you? Someplace where, I can get involved. I think that's a huge thing with building a business, for sure.
Right. And Latrice, one of our guests, in-studio guests, did mention in terms of the marketing and so forth, you cannot even evaluate how important that is until you're right there in the midst of that. So what kinds of methods have you used? Are you a business owner yourself?
Currently, no. I've had previous aspirations. I was thinking about a law firm at one point in my life. I was studying pre-law. And just kind of, building up, my own business, trying to, get out there, find a small building or a small office, rent or lease out, possibly, you need to find, terms of how long I'm going to be there. Somebody, especially what you said earlier with the paperwork too, like sometimes one person cannot do so much.
Oh, right. That's where the teamwork comes in, as I guess we're saying. Well, thank you so much for calling. And if you are getting ready to start a business, good luck. There are many resources out here.
Oh, of course. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
We have another caller on the line. Caller, what is your name, please, and where are you calling from?
Lamont Ming from Portsmouth.
Okay, Lamont, what is your question or comment?
My question is, how do you balance making a profit versus having a heart to serve people?
I bet that is really an issue with many, especially if you have a heart to serve. Thank you so much for that call. I'm going to throw that to our guest. Thank you, Lamont.
Okay, thank you.
Latrice, I'm going to throw that to you first. Oh my goodness, the balance between the two. You don't want to give it all away.
Exactly. I always say that God will make room for your gifts. When you are passionate about something, you will not go hungry. Because passion is something that we have to understand, something that you would actually kill for. When I say I'm passionate about my husband, or I'm passionate about relationship, or I'm passionate about what I do, there's a feeling that comes inside of me that makes me want to work, makes me want to grind, makes me want to do what I need to do to make it happen. So when you have that passion to serve, you will have an opportunity, because people will see that. And when people see that on you, people will invest in you. And the thing is that as long as we can have individuals see that we are in love with what we're doing, that will have them in tune, be in love with it. But if we're not showing that passion, no one else will see it. And then it won't give them an opportunity to invest in it. So if you're passionate about something and you're out there doing it and you're not getting anything for it, it's just like you think of the union missions and all of these nonprofit organizations. They don't want, a lot of the nonprofits that you're looking at in the city, they really don't want for anything because there's people who are pouring into them and there's donors. And I think when you find that you're doing a service business and you're passionate about it and you're not making anything, it's something maybe missing on that you're identifying your audience or sharing with your audience to make them understand that you do need them to feed in. And don't be ashamed to ask. A lot of times in our businesses, we don't ask for what we need, and you have not because you ask not. So if you're out here and you're doing something that you're passionate about, but you don't have that funding, or you're not really looking for it, but you want to do it in a nonprofit way, first of all, make your business a nonprofit business. I think that's a thing that we didn't talk about, where it's a nonprofit business where you make that where you can receive donations. And so they're tax deductible. So individuals can pour into your business and get a tax write-off on it. Right. But you have to let people know what you're doing, why you're doing it, and then show that passion, and then people will pour into it. I'm a firm believer that whatever you're passionate about and you're doing it, it will be paid for. You will never go hungry if you're doing what you're passionate about.
Absolutely. What about that? How do you create the balance, Ms. Akasi?
I think the balance, it's about business development. A lot of people don't understand that this business development is a skill, that you have to come to the place where you're able to reach out to the right people. You're able to communicate exactly what is needed, and being able to go out there and get it. And also understanding who you are, that if you are a service person, then serve, but if you need a business developer, get a business developer. But it is a skill that you can learn to be able to have that balance. You do need a sustainable business. And so by all means, figuring out what are the steps that needs to be taken in order for my business to be sustainable.
Absolutely.
And the business model canvas, one of the segment is actually revenue stream. So you just bullet point, highlight what are the different ways that money can come in.
Right.
Sometimes we have one particular way of the streams of revenue coming in, but there are multiple ways. Research the different ways that revenues can come through your platform or your business, and then figuring out how that needs to happen.
Yeah, I actually saw a quote from Warren Buffett, of course, billionaire Warren Buffett, and he said every business owner needs to think about multiple streams of income, or the how do I make money while I'm sleeping kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so that makes so much sense.
Yes.
So give us a call. What are your multiple streams of income? What about your business plan, your business model? Our number is 757-823-9110. We're talking about minding your business on Hot 91.
Is Hampton Roads Voices on Hot 91.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Benita Adams, and we're talking about minding your business, the power of being an entrepreneur. And it was so interesting, ladies, that when Lamont called, he talked about that balance between wanting, in essence, giving away the store and trying to make a profit. But Latrice, you did make a good point in terms of if you are a nonprofit, which we really hadn't had a chance to talk about, you need to consider that as well. Perhaps that is your passion. Perhaps that is where your heart is. And there are different avenues and so forth when you're dealing with a nonprofit. So I think that's very important there. So also our caller before that talked about advertising. You've got to get your name out there, branding and so forth. So let's take the last part of our show and talk about social media. Let's talk about how important it is, some of the best avenues, and what to do with that. How important, Latrice, is just being on social media to get our brand out there?
It's really important. It's so important that we really need to tap into how we do that. I think what a lot of people don't understand is the importance of consistency. When you're on social media and you're dealing with business, you have to make sure that your social media accounts all look alike, that they're consistent. And the reason why you want consistency is because that also is your brand. And if you're consistent online, you're showing individuals that you can be consistent in business. So when I talk about consistency, I mean, are all of your pictures on your social media matching? Is your name the same across your social media boards? Is your language consistent? What I mean by by language are, do you speak the same language when you write on social media, on all your channels? And that right there is a way for you to actually start connecting with your audience and showing your audience that you are consistent. And so you want to make sure that all of that is in place. Social media is also a place when we talk about branding. It's really important that you have some type of brand, because your attitude will come through in your social media, because you're not seeing or hearing an individual. You're only getting an impression of them. And so, like I mentioned before, it's what people see when they don't see you.
Right.
When you leave a room or whatever you leave, that's your brand. And so if you're on social media, make sure that everything is matching. You have the same picture across the board. You have the same information that you're putting out there across the board. And then decide whether you're going to have, a lot of people don't have a business Twitter or a business Facebook or a business this, and then they have personal. I say that you are your business. So even on your personal Facebook page, that's your business page. Right. A lot of times you have more people on your personal page than you do your business page. So why aren't you advertising and putting your information out on your business page? So make sure that you're consistent in that. Also, in your social media presence, on your social media presence, be transparent. Let people know who you are. Let them know, I got 3 kids and I'm trying to still do this business, and let them understand who you are. Let them know it's my 34th wedding anniversary, and show some pictures with you and your boo. Just be personable so that they can see you are a real person. And it also gives an opportunity for people while you're on social media to see who you really are and whether or not they want to connect with you.
Oh, yes.
And so those are all of the things that you want to do on social media. And it is very important, because that's a way now where people are connecting with you. And social media is so broad. There's billions of people out there. Right. And so it's people not just in locally, but it's people in different states, in other countries that want to connect with you. But you have to be consistent. Be consistent across the board. But it is really important in your business today. And I love it because a lot of social media advertising and marketing is free. And we love the word free.
Yes, we do. F-R-E-E.
And so we want to make sure that we're utilizing it, though, but we're utilizing it in the right way. Because like I said, the most important thing that can come out in your social media advertising is your attitude. And attitude is everything.
It is. And we know the adage, people do business with people they know, like, and trust.
That's right.
And that's a part of that. Mr. Costa, do we need websites anymore then? If everything's on social media, do we even need a website as a business owner?
You do need a website, but it's all about knowing where you are.
Okay.
Right? A lot of times there are people that have websites. You pay lots of money, but you don't have a structure by which people are going to come to your website. So therefore, you've paid so much money, but nobody is using your website.
Wow.
Right? So with the social media, you have to have an approach where a funnel that is bringing people in. And if you don't have that system of like, okay, this is how I'm going to direct people to my website, this is how I'm going to direct people to my social media, it's just a waste of time.
Then it's just that money.
I always think of, where is the power at? If the power is not an Instagram for you because your people are not hanging out on Instagram, don't have an Instagram page. So at the end of the day, with social media, where are your people hanging out at? That's the question.
So important.
Where are your people hanging out?
We have a caller on the line. Caller, what is your name, please, and where are you calling from?
My name is Aubrey Wiggins. I'm calling from Norfolk, Virginia.
Yes, Mr. Wiggins, what is your question or comment?
I just wanted a question about, I wanted to start to invest. I just want to know some good outside of like banking, 401k, just some things that's, smart to maybe start off to learn to invest my money in.
In terms of, so that you can start a business, or?
Well, more so like, investing. I know, like, for example, like maybe property or, but I don't think I'm quite, just some small things that I maybe just get started with.
Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Wiggins.
Okay. Thank you.
So for investment, it's important to know the different groups and the type of investment that is around, even locally. And that is something that you can look at the City of Economics Development to help you with. If you're looking for specific places to invest, you can start small, definitely, and then grow your way out. But that is something that the City of Economics Development can help you with, no matter what city that you reside in.
Okay, Mr. Wiggins, I hope you got that information, because that is so important. Let's wrap by talking a little bit about resources. Any resources that you particularly can recommend for someone, whether it's in starting their business, in paperwork or branding or some shortcuts? I know, Latrice, you use a lot of virtual assistants, things like that. So, Latrice, I'm going to start with you. Give us a couple of things that you would say. I know you don't have a budget that can take care of everything, but I would start with this and I would have that.
Can I be real?
Yes, absolutely.
Because I know a great resource.
Okay,
and
absolutely.
She's sitting right in this room. But you can go to www.latricewmcknight.com. That's LATRECEWMCKNIGHT.com. And I can guide you through that whole business process. So absolutely. I have what we call the Rock and Roll Business Challenge that can help you with starting a business, starting that one-page business plan, getting the information that you need for your business license, creating that investment, and understanding that you don't have to leave your job right away, but understanding that your job can be a best source of resource for you, because it can be the investing into your business that you need, so you can save money while you're working and looking at it that way.
Absolutely. Let's take one other caller on the line. Caller, what is your name and where are you calling from, please?
Well, my name is Kathy, and I'm calling from Virginia.
Okay, Kathy, what is your question, please?
Yes, my question is, for Latrice, what would you tell someone that wants to start a business, but they don't have any money, but they want to, go ahead and start the business, or they have this fire and desire to start the business, but they don't have the startup capital or anything to start the business with, but they're afraid to take that leap, to that jump. What would you tell that person?
Great. Thank you, Kathy, for that call.
I would first tell them to never give up on your dream. To understand that if they are in a position of themselves, like I just mentioned, if you're already working, look at your job as not the job that you're going to that you don't like, but look at it as the job that is making an investment in your business, and start taking some time to pay yourself. A lot of times we don't pay ourselves, but you can look at paying yourself as paying your business. So start paying into your business from the job that you're already in. And you could do simple things. The number one thing I would suggest that you would do is go get your business license. Business licenses are not that much money, but it shows you that, look what I have. You can stick it on your window and you can look at that and say, I've started my business. Yes. And you have your business license, which costs you maybe $10, $15, but you invested in yourself by starting a business, and then make little jumps where you can actually take little leaps, like doing social media pages, starting Facebook groups, start wherever your audience is, Instagram pages, to create groups so that you can then get people's buy-in, where your groups and different things on social media, people can start joining you, and then you can see whether it's something that they need. Start to put that information out on what you're doing and how you're doing it. Taking those little steps turn into big steps. It's just like running a marathon. You don't get to the finish line by just jumping out from the gun start. You have to run miles to get to the finish line. And that's how we should look at it as our business as well. Look at it as every step you take is getting closer to your business goal. Right. No step that you have taken is a step that is not worthy, or the step that is too short. You're closer to your goal than you were when you started. Absolutely. Okay, so think about it in that way. You're thinking about, if you don't have the resources, create the resources with what you have that's going on right now, that you can build that resource so that you can go forth and do your business.
Right. You can't have everything at the same time. Start step by step by step. Exactly. All right. Well, we're getting ready to wrap the show, but Ms. Acacia, tell us how they can find you, contact information, and so forth.
All right. So, like I mentioned earlier, NSU will be opening an innovation center downtown on Main Street, right next to the Hampton Hotel. So this is a place for like-minded entrepreneurs to come and work from the space, and also get help in a disciplined approach. You will be guided with what you do. So that would be available in the spring of 2019. Nice. So please look forward to that in January. And also, you can find me from my personal website. Our company is Connectus. That's KINNECTUS.com. And we will be willing to develop your mobile application, your web application, and your digital marketing.
Absolutely. Is there a number for the School of Business here at NSU?
No.
Okay.
There isn't.
Okay, very good. And Latrice, again, your contact information for our
My
listeners.
contact information, you can call me toll free at 888-716-2286. That's 888-716-2286. And you can also reach me by going to my website at www.latricewmcknight.com. That's LATRECEWMCKNIGHT. And it's tons of information there, and we can connect.
Absolutely. Again, our studio guests have been Mrs. Latrice Williams McKnight, president of McKnight Williams and Associates. Again, thank you so much, Latrice, for being here today. And Miss Acacia, who is a professor of NSU School of Business and the co-founder of the Business Connect Us. Thank you so much, Ms. Acacia.
Thank you, Vanita.
Oh, it's been wonderful. This has been a great conversation. Don't forget that we air every Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. We also re-air this broadcast on Sundays from noon to 2. Don't forget you can find us on Instagram under Hot 91 Online and also on our Facebook page of the same name. If you want to get in contact with me, don't forget to use my email address, bkadams@nsu.edu. That's bkadams@nsu.edu. Let us know what you want to talk about. It's been a wonderful conversation. We've been talking about minding your business, the power of being an entrepreneur. We hope to hear from you soon, and we'll talk to you next time. Bye-bye. The views and opinions expressed on this program are not those of Norfolk State University or WNSB-FM. Thank you for listening.